going on, guys? It's Tim from How to Motocross. Today we're going to be going over the basic maintenance that you're going to do on a bike.
So right here we pretty much have the basics of what you're going to need to maintain your bike. You've got rags, latex gloves, Bel-Ray air filter oil, antifreeze, transmission oil, regular race gasoline, and 2-stroke premix. We also have 12 and a 13 open-ended wrench, 12, 8, and 14 millimeter sockets. Also, for doing what we're going to do first, which is tightening the chain, you're going to want 18 millimeter, give or take whatever size bike yours is. All the size measurements are different for different bikes, but about an 18 on this side and a 17 on this side when you're going to tighten the chain, but we'll get into that. Okay, so once you've taken that off, you're going to want to look for this little plug down here. This little screw. Oh man, that's torqued down. Now it's tight. So if you run into this problem, what you want to do is get a drill with a Phillips head on it, get it in there, and back it out. I really don't want to strip this right now and make a problem for down the road, but basically all you do, once you manage to get this out with a proper drill, which I don't have, the oil will come to a certain level once you fill it up, where you take this out and a little bit of oil should come out, but not a lot. And then when you want to replace it, you drain the oil out of the bottom through a bolt. And then to check to get to the right height again, you leave this bolt out and fill it from here. So like I was saying earlier, with tightening the chain, you're going to want to get on this bike at least a 17 millimeter on this side and an 18 on this side to loosen up these nuts. But I really don't want to go through that process, so I'm just going to explain it. So when you're tightening the chain, you loosen up these bolts so the tire's free. So you're going to want the bike propped up on something, another reason why I'm not doing it right now. And what you're going to want to do is pull the tire back to tighten up the chain to your desired length. And then what you do is you take your 12 right here and you loosen these, or you tighten these in that case up to line up with these little lines right here. There's a little dash in that, and they line up to these lines, and it's on both sides. So the point of that is so you can equally back out the same amount of distance on this side as you do on this side, so the tire stays straight as you back it out and tighten the chain. Alright, so now we're going to do probably the most important and overlooked aspect of maintaining your bike, which is the air filter. The air filter is located right under the seat, and in order to get at it, there's 2 bolts on each side of your seat, and in this case it's 12 millimeter. So we're just going to take it off. Make sure you have gloves on. See, get those 2 bolts out. The seat lifts right off. We have access to our air filter. Now, to get this out, there's a little nut and bolt in here that you just loosen with your hand. Now the air filter is covered in oil and dirt, that's why I have gloves on. You just loosen it up. And then this will come out. Air filter pops right out. Now you can see it's pretty dirty. in there, and this is pretty dirty. So now what you're going to do, there's actually a housing under the air filter itself, under the styrofoam. Pops right out. Take the casing right out. Okay, now for the next step, everybody does this a little bit differently. You can actually go to the store and get air filter cleaning fluid, which does the same thing as this, but it's expensive, and if you don't have that kind of extra money, you can just mix high ratio. This is 50-to-1 two-stroke mix, and then you just take your air filter, go over a trash bin, soak it, and you wring it out, and that takes all the dirt and excess oil out from the air filter. You can see getting cleaner. You want to do it a few times. Really big tip, something I just noticed with my air filter, they deteriorate over a period of time. So once you see this, you're going to want to get a new air filter. So that's the sign for me to say get a new air filter. So once you soak it in your two-stroke mix, just turn it inside out, lay it out in the sun, and then you just let it dry. After you let it dry inside out, you're going to want to flip it like I just did, back to right side, and let it dry a little bit longer. While we're waiting for that to dry, we can check the last fluid that we haven't checked already on our bike, which is the antifreeze. Focus. Alright, so your antifreeze, normally you would have 2 radiators on a full-size bike, but this is a mini, so it only has 1 on the left side. So to check it, you just pop it off. Always do this when the bike is cold. You never take this off when it's hot. So you can just look in, shake it around a little bit. As you can see, I don't see any antifreeze in there, so that means that we're low. It'll just sit. See, yeah, I wasn't that low. Just need a little bit to top it off. Now you can see it. Now this is the overflow hose right here I was talking about. If you fill it up too much, it'll just come right out the side. Alright, so once your air filter is dry, you're going to want to oil up your air filter. So before you put the housing on, you're going to want to take your air filter oil, not just regular oil. You can either do this in a plastic bag, over a trash barrel, or whatever, but either way you're going to probably want to have gloves. So you're just going to dump it, soak it, and then you just work it all into the whole air filter, just like this. Make sure you get the edges. Then once it's properly oiled, then you take your housing, pop it back on. So once your air filter's cleaned, dried, and oiled, you're going to want to take the nut and bolt that you took out originally. You're going to have to line it up. This bike makes it easy for you because it gives you a cage that it fits over. Other bikes you have to fit it in just by eyeballing it, and it's not easy. This bike gives you a little bit of an advantage. now it's just time to put the seat back on.
Alright, so the air filter's in, cleaned and oiled. So now the next step is just put the seat back on. Got a little notch right into the seat. There's a bolt right here on the tank. So what you do, you start low, you slide it in, line it up on the sides. This will fit right over that, so you can see through it. You just take the bolts. Make sure they're tight. Then after that, pretty much done.